Senator Hyde-Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Smith, for being here. Good to see you again. We had a nice visit before, and I appreciate all that you're willing to do for us. There's three things that I want to talk about today, and the first one is expanding some markets and opportunities for U.S. forestry timber products, and improving rural water and wastewater infrastructure, and ensuring proper access to health care in rural America. So in Mississippi, we have over 19 million acres of forest land, and we have 130,000 forest landowners. Very important in Mississippi. The activity generates 84,000 jobs and $4.4 billion in income annually. We are often referred to as the wood basket, but right now the basket is full, and the bottom line is we need to expand existing markets and create new ones for our timber and our wood residuals. My colleagues and I are exploring ways to utilize existing USDA programs to support renewable energy systems that will strengthen rural communities through timber, through biomass, and there's really a significant opportunity there for us and to encourage sustainable forest management practices and keeping our forest working to support local economics, because it is a driving engine there, to build markets that will ultimately serve our landowners and our rural businesses. But obviously there will be challenges and costs to all of that. My question for you is, will you work with me going forward to strengthen these programs within USDA in rural development's mission area to support the forestry sector as we seek to create new and expanded markets for American timber and biomass?
Well, Senator, thank you for that question. And regardless whether it's corn, cattle, soybeans, or timber, whatever business that rural development can support that adds value to that and adds a new market, rural development should be involved, should and could. So certainly in the timber industry, I confess, I know it was part of our part of the loan portfolio at Farm Credit, but I don't know a lot about it. So I would look forward to hearing more about it and looking forward to hearing about the industries that you think need support. So I would say to your staff, make sure you're in contact with our staff and programs that would fit. Because we need to, anything that adds markets for our domestic products, we need to support.
Well, thank you very much for that, and I do have some ideas that I want to get with you on.
Very good.
In our water systems across Mississippi, we have more than 1,000 water systems. Our towns and rural water associations and often understaffed, and they're working hard to keep the taps running and the wastewater safely disposed of, but many towns have infrastructure needs that far exceed their financial capabilities, which often requires rate increases that are insufficient or not feasible to comply with federal environmental regulations. The communities that need assistance most often don't have the financial resources to hire an experienced grant writer or provide technical expertise needed to apply for the various federal water and wastewater assistance program. If confirmed, will you be mindful of the unique water-related challenges faced by many of our rural communities, and will you commit to working with me to eliminate as much unnecessary red tape as possible?
Well, rural development has always played a key role in delivering clean, safe water to rural America, and anything I could do to influence and encourage that, I will.
Great, thank you. And maybe get to my third one, ensuring proper access to health care in rural America. We farm and we have farming accidents, and we use a lot of rural health care, but nearly half of all rural hospitals operate as a loss, and many have had to close their doors or discontinue certain services to stay afloat. And Mississippi is a rural state, and it's critical that we maintain access to care, particularly those living in our rural communities. But Rural Development administers the USDA Technical Assistance Program for rural hospitals, which has been a lifeline to helping hospitals manage their finances and to prevent defaults on USDA loans and to just simply keep their doors open. Through this program, Jasper General Hospital in Bay Springs, Mississippi, received technical assistance that really helped. It improved its financial performance and it enhanced access to healthcare services in rural, underserved areas. But since 2018, almost 120 rural hospitals across the country have participated in the program, with each project identifying significant ways to reduce costs and establish a more financially stable path forward. And would you please speak to the importance of this program for rural hospitals and how you plan to maintain and grow the program, which has proven effective in helping rural hospitals?
Well, Senator, thank you for that question. And obviously, I stated earlier, I recognize the importance of the rural hospital. That's what kept groceries on the table and paid our electric bill for the early years of our marriage, as my wife is an RN and retired now, proudly, but now she supports me. But the rural development makes loans, grants, and guaranteed loans to build facilities. We're not involved in the operational lending. It's a whole different area, different from investing in facilities. But you mentioned something that I thought was important to some of those rural hospitals, is that they got technical assistance. And I think that's where RD can help. Again, getting back, and I hate to be repetitive, but for something you feel strongly about, and that connectivity of rural areas, that's so important. So in order for those hospitals, let's say it's just an emergent care facility out 200 miles from a major hospital, a farmer comes in with a major accident, major injury, that he can get on the internet to one of the finest hospitals in the country and understand what to do until that patient can be transferred. That to me is things we need to investigate in rural America, and that's how rural development can help in that technology and that assistance and giving you the tools for that. Does that answer your question, Senator?
Absolutely. Very, very critical. And again, I appreciate what you're willing to do for us, and I look forward to supporting you.
And you know, Senator, recall our conversation last week that I thought was, we talked about attracting doctors and professionals to rural areas, which is important and difficult. And number one, you have to have that quality of life to attract them in the first place. But I know that rural development had a grant down in your state, and the one medical doctors, they're veterinarians, which is very important to you and I's business, right?
Yep.
And a grant to the veterinarian college at Mississippi State to pay back tuition for students that stayed in the state and practiced large animal practice in the state. And that was a rural development grant. So that's another way that we can encourage that type of services that we need so much in rural America.
Yeah, you're so right, because there is a shortage.
Yes.
No doubt.
Ma'am. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you, Senator Lujan.
Thank you.